What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bleacher Takes. It's a nice Sunday night out. There's lots of sports, lots of great stuff going on. We got NHL, we got MLB, we got NBA. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about with you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching right now, if you don't mind, please share the page. Let's get some interaction going on. Let's get some comments, get some chats going on in here. We want to talk with you guys about your sports takes, and we want you guys to share it with your friends and just create a great community in here. We thank you guys for being with us on your Sunday night, and thanks for being in here. We hope we're going to have some great talks in here. Boys, what's going on? Josh, Nate, how's it going?
Hey, man, it's going pretty good. Beautiful weather today, and hey, good day to talk sports. Nate, how you feeling today?
Hey, I love talking sports with you, boys. I am psyched right now, man. I mean, there's so much good stuff going on. Good NBA games today. Hockey playoffs start tomorrow. Woo! I'm ready, boys. I'm ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a lot going on. If you are not into sports yet, now would be the perfect time to start. There's lots of stuff going on. Baseball season's just now kicking off. NBA is getting real in the thick of the playoffs. And NHL, we're starting up on the playoffs for them as well. So there's lots of things going on. We just finished the NFL draft. We're going to hit on that a little bit, but there's a lot of stuff going on. So, boys, we're going to talk about this NFL draft here.
Crazy day.
Interesting picks. There was a lot of crazy stuff. Josh, what do you think was the most surprising pick?
I'm gonna have to start off with pick number one. Honestly, I had Aiden Hutchinson going there, and I mean, it could have gone either way, but there for a while, everybody was saying that it was going to be Hutchinson, and then at last minute, it changed to Walker. But hey, they're both phenomenal players, and Jags got their guy. So
yeah, that was interesting. They wanted him. I mean, you get the first pick. I mean, you have a lot of pressure on you having that first pick. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it went back and forth for a while too between the two.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no you pick exactly who you want as a first pick. Like the Lions, obviously they had the second one. So if whoever has the better career of Walker and Hutchinson, it's it's on the Jags to make that right pick. If Walker's a bust or whatever, but I mean, they got who they wanted. That's who they wanted.
I think it was crazy. When I watched Georgia games, I didn't really see Trayvon Walker jump off the page a lot. I didn't watch all their games, obviously, but I watched the 2 games against Alabama. He had no tackles for loss, no sacks, no quarterback hurries, none of that. But it makes sense because he was being guarded by the best lineman in the draft, Evan Neal, who went to the Giants. Thank you, Lord, for that. Pay your tithes out there. Make sure you pay your tithes because the Lord blesses you. But no, Trayvon Walker got shut down in 3 years. In 3 years, had 9.5 sacks. Hutchinson had that last year in just 1 year. So I think a lot of times people look at these combine stats and say, wow, this guy's got crazy combines, but does it really translate to the field? It didn't for him. It could be wrong. He could end up being the next best D end in the league, but he also could be quite the bust.
It could be like the thing with Aaron Donald. I mean, he doesn't have crazy amounts of sacks, but the things that he does on the football field, the you have to double team him. And we know Walker's a freak athlete, so it could be one of the things where we have to double team this guy, or he's.
It's just hard for me to think that anybody was double teaming him when Jordan Davis was literally one
all
slot
on the other
over
side.
him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch the tape. I didn't watch it on him. But
that whole Georgia defense,
I saw guys like Kayvon Thibodeau. I saw him getting double teamed and still getting across. I saw Aiden Hutchinson get double teamed by Ohio State and still had 3 sacks on us. Painful to still say. But it just wasn't on the tape there for me for Walker. But we'll see. He could prove us all wrong. It could be
they might
fantastic.
Know something we don't.
Hey, man, that's why they're getting paid the big bucks. So I also thought it was interesting. We had 6 wide receivers go in the first round. That was tied for the most ever. It's crazy. And there was a clear top 6, I believe, that everybody had. But they kind of all had Jahan Dotson as number 6 for sure. But he ended up going before Treylon Burks. You guys think that was because Burks had a bad combine, or what are you guys thinking about that?
I just think it's fit for the team. Like whatever the team thought like the best wide receiver fit was. I mean, that's what they're going to draft, obviously. And
Sure.
so I don't know. I think that's kind of what played into it. But
Dotson has
Yeah.
great hands, man. I mean, he has. I think it's what you see is what you get. I mean, he has great hands. I think he's going to be great for them. Is it the Commanders that drafted him? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I think. I wasn't surprised there. Just personally opinion that he was picked over Traylon Burks. I mean, I know some listeners, they love Traylon Burks, and some people had him going really high too in the mock, but I wasn't surprised by that one as well. I think Dotson is a proven receiver. I think he's going to be great for him.
Not trying to change subjects or anything, but Sunday Night Baseball is going on. I just saw Bryce Harper hit a home run off Max Scherzer. Two very big names. A lot of money there. So we'll get to that here in a little bit, but just wanted to throw that little teaser in there.
I love the commentating there, Timmy.
Yeah. Play by play, you know. And then the last pick that was kind of surprising but good. The Packers finally took a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers. They waited until the second round to do so, but they got a guy who I think is the biggest sleeper in the wide receiver room in the draft, Christian Watson. 6'4", runs a 4.44 40. Scary athlete. And just the fact that Aaron Rodgers can be throwing the ball to him is pretty terrifying for opposing defenses, I would imagine.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
Dude's quick as a mug. North Dakota State, who even saw this guy coming. I think it's funny that the Packers picked two defensive players too. I think didn't they set a record?
I think they just
straight.
Yeah.
How many?
I saw a stat, and I could be wrong, but I think it's been since 2001 that they have taken. That was the last time they took an offensive skill position player in the first round: wide receiver, running back, tight end. 2001.
Which their main top guys were never first round picks. Devontae
Well,
Adams,
they
Greg
can't
Jennings,
be. They don't take them.
Jordy Nelson, none of those guys were. Yeah.
Yep.
I think the one that was surprising too was the Saints trading up for Chris Olave. Him and Michael Thomas together.
Ohio State room, baby.
That could be a rookie of the year candidate right there. Oh, Chris Olave.
Yep. Yeah, I think it fits perfectly with Jameis Winston. Big arm to a fast receiver who can run after the catch and can also just burn guys down the sideline. So, fantastic pick. Speaking of those picks, though, a couple of us got a couple of these picks right in our mock draft. If you watched our mock draft, thank you for that. And if you remember, Josh is our big winner. He got 3 picks right. He called Sauce Gardner to the Jets at 4, Evan Neal to the Giants at 7, and then a very late pick, he got Trevor Penning going to the Saints at 19. Pretty good job there, Josh.
Jay, just show me where to sign up for that GM spot. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
You still should have picked Walker first, though.
Yeah, you kind of blew that.
Yeah, I think you could have got that one right.
You picked the true talent. I mean, you were smart about that. A little GM action, but I got Thibodeau to the Giants. Thank you, Jesus, for that. And I also got Drake London to the Falcons, which I made a very strong case as to why I thought that was going to happen. And boy, was I right. You boys can, all hail the king over here. But
you and the rapper Drake are very excited about that. I don't know if you saw his $100,000 bet.
Yeah, we're buds. Yeah, he texted me before and asked for my advice. That's why he put the money on it. But
smart man.
The Falcons GM, the Falcons GM, and Drake and Tim are just all on the same wavelength. I guess
got a little group chat
you know
going
what I
on.
mean? Yeah, perfect. Nate sadly did not get any picks right. But to be fair, it's really hard to get picks right outside of the top 10 because teams start trading and doing stuff. And 2 of Nate's top 3 picks involved a trade. So we were just kind of playing around, having fun with that. We had Seattle draft moving up to get a quarterback. And in the end, they didn't even take a quarterback in the whole 7 rounds. So we were wrong about that. And
about
to
Willis.
Be fair,
yeah.
To be fair, yes, we were wrong about Willis. 3rd round quarterback. Wow.
And Pickett number 6, I was wrong about that.
Yep. But I mean, it is what it is. You did call somebody going pretty high. Who was that?
Yes. Oh yeah, Derek Stingley Jr. baby. I can't pull it up. I wish I could pull up my snippet from last time, but I did say that there's questions about injuries, but if people knew that he was like fully healthy, this man could be a top 3 pick. And sure
Well,
enough,
his true
was top
freshman
3.
year when they won when Burrow was on team, I think they won the national championship that year. His true freshman year, he was a lockdown, shutdown corner for them. People did not throw his way. So very, very fantastic talent there. Texans took him at 3. Some people thought maybe it was a reach, but hey, man, the talent's there. And then a couple trades, man. If you were to look at our group chat, you would see that I am the predictor of trades because I texted these two boys and said, hey, should we do a little mock trade of A.J. Brown to the Eagles? Because I think he's getting traded there. They said, nah, let's not do it. So blame them for not getting you that content early. But A.J. Brown did get traded to the Eagles. Boy is a Eagle over there with Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. And the Titans are replacing him with Treylon Burks, who I think kind of is an A.J. Brown style player. So it makes sense. Do I think he's A.J. Brown? No. But he's the same style player. And Hollywood Brown. Did you guys see that coming?
No.
Got traded to the Cardinals.
I didn't see that coming at all. No, I don't think he's worth it. What was it? He was a first round pick too, like him for a first rounder.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't think he's worth the first. I didn't think he was worth the first round, but I mean,
he said it himself that the system in Baltimore just wasn't a fit for him. So hey, he could have a big year this coming year.
You got to do what you got to do for yourself. I mean, I think he could have some long touchdowns. That's what he's there for. He's a burner. But there was a game last year when I watched the Ravens that I don't remember who they were playing, but I was watching him, and he was on my fantasy team, of course. He dropped 3 touchdown passes. The guy's got actual butterfingers for hands. Like, yeah, he can burn the speed. He can burn past you all he wants, but if he ain't catching the ball, it don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ravens didn't seem too worried about getting rid of him because with that pick, they took Tyler Lindenbaugh out of Iowa. So they don't really seem that worried about losing him, I guess.
Lamar Jackson
was mad.
Not happy.
But
had a
that's
couple
to be
of
expected.
expletives to say about that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would be mad too if they took away my best receiver when I'm a running back playing quarterback. But that's another discussion for another day.
Yeah.
But
the Cardinals.
Yeah, the NFL draft. Yeah.
With Brown going to the Cardinals, I think he's joining
a lot of mouths to feed.
DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Rondale Moore. I guess he takes the place of Christian Kirk because Christian Kirk went to the Jags. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of mouths to feed. And I know me and Tim, I don't think we're very set on Kyler Murray. Not to throw another thing out there. I'm sure we'll get into that when NFL starts, but I know we're not that big on Kyler Murray. But I don't know. Maybe he just had a down year and he'll explode for another MVP type. Josh?
I think that.
He had a good year, but he just fell apart in the playoffs. Like that game that he played was just.
It's like Draymond Green says. Draymond Green said that not everybody's made for the playoffs, and I think Kyler Murray's not made for the playoffs.
Yeah, could it be that he's a little young though, or you just think that no matter what, he just
tell it to Josh Allen, tell it to Patrick Mahomes, tell it to all those boys. They ain't waiting around.
Yeah, that is true.
They're not waiting around for those boys to. Yeah, Kyler Murray, if he can't make it work with that wide receiver room and Zach Ertz, and they just drafted the best tight end on the board. I don't remember his name, but they got 6 legit receivers to throw to. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out. We're probably going to cool off in the NFL talk for a while, though. The draft was big and all, but we got a lot of other stuff to cover. We got our MLB update right now. We got a lot of stuff going on in baseball. If you didn't know, the best team in baseball currently resides in New York City. And I'm not talking about – they don't play at Shea Stadium. They play in Yankee Stadium. We are hot, hot, hot. And so I'm very excited to talk baseball. We had a couple big series. One of them's finishing up right now. Phillies and Mets. It's 6-4. I did not expect this. Max Scherzer's on the mound. And, and Eflin for the Mets, for the Phillies is on the mound. 10 earned runs given up only through 6 innings. Not how I was expecting it to go. But the first two, The Mets threw a combined no-hitter on Friday night. Did you guys see that?
I
That
did
was
not get a chance to see that. No.
I saw some highlights of it, and
pretty crazy. They threw like
Phillies-
150 pitches. They mixed it around. There was like 6 guys, but they threw a no-hitter. And then the Phillies decided that they weren't happy with that. Came back, stomped all over them on Saturday. Schwarber, Hoskins both had home runs in that game. And now here's the rubber match. And Schwarber's homered, Harper's homered. And it's a pretty big game going down here on Sunday Night Baseball.
Mhm.
The second big series, Twins and Rays. The Twins finished up the series win today against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay hit them hard on Friday. Twins came back and smacked them on Saturday, and then they smacked them today. They had 5 runs in the first inning, and they completed the series win. Twins are playing pretty well right now. We're going to get to them in here in just a minute, but big
Playing
series.
really well.
Playing very, very well. Yeah, they started out kind of slow, but they're all kind of picking it up at the same time.
9-1 their last 10.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is also the Yankees, 9-1 in their last 10 because they're 9-0 in their last 9.
Yes, sir.
But Astros and Blue Jays, our other big series here. Pretty insane. The first game of the series, Friday night, there was a combined 18 runs between the two teams, combined 27 hits. It's like an MLB The Show game. Friday night. And then they apparently all were tired on Saturday because there's 3 runs combined. And 2 of those runs came from George Springer home runs. He got some payback on his former team, the Astros, lifted them to a win. And then today, Kevin Gausman just carved up the Astros. 10 strikeouts, and Bo Bichette homered. The Jays won 3-2. Jays take a big series against the Astros. It's their second series against the Astros in the last 2 weeks.
Gausman's a beast too, man.
The Blue Jays are really just showing their fortitude, man. They can hit, they can pitch. They're showing that they're going to be around for a long time, and they're not the future. They're the now.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes for an interesting AL East update because although the Blue Jays are scorching hot, they are behind the trailblazing New York Yankees.
This makes
Give you guys
so
some
happy.
stats real quick. Oh, yeah.
The
Yankees
gotta be so happy right now.
Yankees got the best record in baseball, not just in the American League, in baseball. We have the best fielding team. A lot of people said before the year the Yankees cannot field. They're a bad fielding team. Well, take that, haters. We're first in fielding. We're second in earned run average. All right. You can't expect us to make an error. We're not going to give up no runs. We're fifth in batting average. Another one. I could name some names that I'm not going to, who said the Yankees cannot hit for average. They're home run or strikeout. Fifth in batting average. Let that sink in a little bit. We can slap it around and we can slap it out. And then we're going to slap your favorite team as well. So you don't want to see the Yankees right now. We also have the most comeback wins in baseball. Can't count us out. Cannot
Yankees
count
are looking
us
good.
out.
You know what I see with the Yankees this year? Like when I watch the New York Yankees,
28.
what I'm seeing is dudes with a chip on their shoulder. Like they're tired of hearing this talk. They're tired of hearing this curse, whatever it is. The Yankees are playing with a chip on their shoulder because even you, Tim, people were saying, New York fans were like, they're in for Freddie Freeman. Oh, we're gonna get Freddie Freeman. Okay, well, we get Rizzo, which Rizzo is actually playing lights out, obviously. And then they're like, okay, Trevor Story. And then as soon as he goes to the Red Sox, I remember Tim's like text message to us was like, well, the Yankees will be right above the Orioles this year, so this will be fun to watch. But a lot of people were saying that, like you were seeing that on ESPN. It's not like Tim was crazy for saying that. He wasn't a disgruntled fan, one that was crazy, but a lot of ESPN people were saying this stuff. So I think the Yankees heard it and said, you know what, we got a chip on their shoulder and we're going to go out there and prove. We're tired of hearing about the Mets, how, they're just going to run the city. They're the new Yankees. No, 28 still, baby. 28 still.
You know what? I don't want to just only talk about the Yankees. I could talk about the Yankees for 10 hours and
we know
not run out of content, okay? But I do want to say
podcast.
some of the changes that they made have really changed the clubhouse. Josh Donaldson was an underrated trade. That guy, he has not hit very well, and he's been a subpar player actually this year. but the energy and the just intensity he brings to the team. He's an intense player, and he always has been. Josh Donaldson will talk to anybody. There's actually people weren't sure how he'd fit on the Yankees because him and Garrett Cole have gotten into it so much over the years. But that's because Josh Donaldson and Garrett Cole are very intense, and they bring that intensity to this team. We brought Isaiah Kiner-Falefa over to play shortstop. He's been playing lights out at short, and he's actually hitting over 300. The guy is hitting well for us.
He's hitting fantastic, dude.
And DJ LeMahieu is back. He's hitting over 300 again. We're just slapping the ball around, and we're hitting it out at the right time. We're coming back. And used to, last year, it felt like if the Yankees got behind, it was over. They said, you know what? Move on to the next game. They are not doing that this year. They are not doing that, and they're saying, you know what? Every game matters. Every game counts, and we're winning it all this year. Thank you, Yankees. Continue to do what you do. I love you. American League Central, the Twins, we talked about them a little bit earlier. The Twins are on fire. They're on fire. They're 7th in the league in ERA. They're 8th in home run, 8th in fielding. Very solid team, top echelon in some of the best stats you can grade a team on. Playing very well. Those pickups, Carlos Correa and Gio Urshela on the left side of the infield, have made their fielding so much better. They're one of the worst fielding teams in baseball last year. And now they just got vacuums all over the place.
Yeah.
Twins are
Byron
nasty.
Buxton, though, too, man.
And
dude is a stud.
Byron Buxton,
people saying he's the best player in the league.
If he can stay healthy, man, whoo, man, Mike Trout who? Juan Soto who?
I mean,
he can stay healthy.
Good, man.
He is that good. He can make that kind of impact on that team. When he's healthy, they have been 30 games over 500 the last 2 years. I've seen that.
Yep.
When he is not, they are 20 games under.
Yeah. That's insane.
Just you can't make up that stat. Yeah. You can't. And baseball is a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
Just shows.
I mean, Mike Trout. When Mike Trout played the last few years, they were decent. But when he doesn't play, they were okay. But nothing drastic like that. And we say Mike Trout's the best player in the game. I'm not coming at Mike Trout. I'm saying Byron Buxton is the real deal. He's got to stay healthy.
That is actually an insane stat to even think about that. Like,
insane.
That is nuts.
If he does stay healthy, I'm drinking some of the Twins Kool-Aid, though. I think they're a great team in the AL for sure.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. The Yankees have their number in the playoffs, though. So if they ever see us, man, I'm not worried.
White Sox are underperforming. Twins are showing that they're a top team right now. I mean,
I think it's another thing the Twins also said, too. You know, they probably heard people say, oh, well, Carlos Correa is just signing there just to get a payday for a year or two. He doesn't really care. The Twins aren't really going to compete. And they go, you know what? No, we're going to come for it all. So that's what they're doing. And the White Sox are falling on their face. And
Tim Anderson leading the league in errors, I saw.
Yep.
Pretty bad.
Josh, please don't do that for us in softball this year.
Hey.
First game's Wednesdays, by the way. Let's throw that out there.
Hey, I'm pumped. Yep.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, Wednesday night podcast. We're all going to be sweaty and tired, but join us for that. It's going to be a fun time. AL West, the Angels are leading that. Angels have looked pretty dang good this year. They're starting to put it together if they can just stay healthy, which is always their issue. They're top 5 in hits, home runs, average, RBI, and stolen bases. They are an offensive guru, and if they can just keep that going and just pitch average ball. Their pitching has been so bad the last few years that they can't make the playoffs, even with a great offense. They got a top 5 offense this year, and if they can just average pitch, it should be good.
Mike Trout is being Mike Trout, as always.
Yep, doing Mike Trout things. We're watching right now NL East battle. The Mets are leading the NL East right now, and they're up 6-4 over the Phillies. The Mets have been very nasty as well. The 3rd in ERA, 2nd in strikeouts. You know, people that they've struck out, and they're 3rd in fielding. They're playing very fundamentally sound ball. That's something that they don't usually do. They're very they usually make some mental errors as a team, but no, they've went all in. They've got a good coaching staff behind them, and they're playing very well.
They are. Subway Series, World Series, early prediction.
Let's do it. We'll see them there. I'll meet them.
That'd be crazy, man.
That would be
insane.
I'm like watching the Marlins too. I know that they're not leading, but the Marlins are 8-2 in their last 10, and they're looking like a real squad. And I mean, for a while, people were kind of shocked when they were saying, "Hey, this could be a wild card team." I think John Boy Media threw that out there and said, "Hey, this Marlins team could be a wild card team." And I mean, hey, they're looking good the last 10.
They are pretty
Mhm.
nasty.
They're fun
pretty
to watch
nasty.
also, yeah.
That's a tough division, but
Yeah.
that they can definitely be a wild card team. That's for sure. Because the division that I thought would be better than they have been, the National League Central, not looking so hot right now.
They got two teams.
The Brewers are leading it. They're fifth in ERA, first in saves, first in strikeouts, ninth in fielding. We all knew that they were going to pitch lights out because they always do.
Yep.
But they can't hit, but they're still winning that division. Cardinals have kind of fallen on their faces here lately. Decided not to play very good ball. I think they won today, though, didn't they? They beat the Diamondbacks today.
Yep.
They were losing for a long portion of that game, though. I was very scared for the morale of my two boys going into tonight's podcast if they lost. But
I mean,
this is something I expected. I'm not gonna lie to you. I said it when they were hot and early on in the year. It's like, Cardinals fans, once they hit that little skid in the road, it's their morale just for the fan base in general is just going to go down. So,
and they're, well, I was gonna say, Josh, you probably know, but their main player, Arenado, had to serve a suspension yesterday, and our team collected a total of 2 hits and got shut out by the Diamondbacks, which Diamondbacks are a good pitching team. Merrill Kelly is extremely nasty. So, I mean, but still, 2 hits. Our offense is supposed to be better than that. But I guess when you tackle Pete Alonso and start a fight, that I guess you get a suspension. So,
yeah. Well, he's lucky he didn't get put in the hospital, right?
That's what they said. That's what, But I think the Cardinals can shake it up. I mean, the Mets are a tough team, and they're actually hitting a lot better. Or the Brewers, I'm sorry. The Brewers are a tough pitching team, but they are hitting a little bit better now. So, I mean, we just got to – we're good. It's early.
Well, and I also think that, you see the Diamondbacks record and you think you should be able to sweep a team like that. I think Diamondbacks are very underrated. They just play in a very, very tough division. They're having to play the Dodgers, Giants, and Padres all the time. Those are 3 teams that are very tough. And so it's tough to beat a team like the Diamondbacks. They have a bad record, but they're a really good team.
Yeah.
But that National League West, there's no surprise as to who's leading that. I actually had to change this up a little bit. I had the Giants because the Giants were leading the division last night. And then after today's games, the Dodgers are leading the division. Those two just going neck and neck again.
And the Padres
they will be
are
all
right
year. In yep. Just like it was last year and the year before. Dodgers are 3rd in stolen bases, 1st in ERA, 5th in fielding. And they haven't even hit their stride offensively. A lot of their guys are slumping. A lot of their guys have not hit very well. Yeah. So it's kind of scary to see what the Dodgers can do. We all know what that lineup is, that it's like a all-star game lineup, one of the best lineups in baseball history. And they have not hit their stride yet. They aren't really hitting that well, and they're still in first place and are half a game out from the best record in baseball. They're a fantastic team, and they haven't even hit their stride. It's scary. Yeah. They're a scary team. Yeah. But do you guys got anything else on the baseball front, or should we move on here?
I saw the top guys. Josh is going to be happy about this because he loves him some Padres as his proclaimed second favorite team. Eric Hosmer and Manny Machado, both are the top 2 in batting average this year. So,
they are hitting very well.
Yeah.
And they have been playing the whole year so far without Tatis.
Yeah.
So Tatis will be back, and they should be able to gain some ground. But they can't get too far behind right now because those Dodgers and Giants are not going to lose very many games. So it's tough.
It's going to be like that all year.
Tough. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Between those two, it's going to be tight. But I just want to say one more thing also is the guys like with the Phillies and Blue Jays, the guys that they signed in the offseason are really showing up with Schwarber and Springer within those, within these series this week. And Springer had those homered twice in that one game, and then Schwarber even tonight is
twice Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, and then even Schwarber tonight is hitting a home run off of Max Scherzer. That's what you bring those guys in for, is facing these big pitchers like that, and they're showing up. So
yep, it's what you pay the money for. Pay the money for these big boys to come in and play in these meaningful games. And baseball is in a very good place right now, I think. There's only a few teams you can really say that don't really look like they're trying. and that's
They're all in
good for the sport.
There's
So,
2 in the Central. In El Central.
Yeah, you could argue that, maybe even more, but um, yeah, it's tough in baseball. You got to win every game, otherwise you're going to fall. Right now, the Yankees, like I said, do have the best record, but the Blue Jays are a game and a half out, and the Rays are right on their tails, and that's not to mention the Red Sox. So, and that's how it is in every division. Every division is very close like that, and obviously as the year goes on, there's going to be further space between the teams. But baseball's in a great place. If you don't watch baseball regularly, I'm here to tell you you should be. Baseball is just now starting to heat up, and we're going to have a lot of fun covering it. But we got something else pretty fun to cover, a sport that maybe not so many people are accustomed to watching or talking about, but a sport that's very fun. And I've recently gotten into it in this past year. We're talking about hockey. We got our residential and crazy hockey man here in the bottom corner, Nate over here. He loves hockey, and it's hockey playoff time. I'm here to experience my first true playoff hockey, and I'm excited for it. Nate, what's going on in hockey, man? You excited? You seem excited.
I am pumped up. First game tomorrow at 8:30. I'm so pumped up. I took the day off Tuesday because I'm going to stay up and watch every single moment of the game 1 Blues and Wild. Low key, I told Shay we might as well fly to Minnesota and go to the first game and stay the night.
Lifestyle. Once you take your private jet, bro.
We ain't doing that. Okay, yeah, I'll take a private jet and we'll go. But I'm telling you, I wanted to go so bad. And at first I forgot it was in Minnesota. But I was like, man, that would be awesome. And all the games are on ESPN. Just throw that in. I think that's really cool that ESPN's really invested into hockey and know that it is growing. So like a lot of the playoff games are going to be on ESPN, ESPN2. Well, considering NBA is a big TNT as well. But anyway, yes, Blues and Wild. For any fans that or anybody that doesn't watch a lot of hockey and you're in the area, go ahead and say, go ahead and help me cheer on the Blues. Come on. I mean, just adopt a team, St. Louis Blues. I mean, they're the real deal. They're one of the best offensive teams in the game right now. So go ahead and adopt them. And we're taking on the Minnesota Wild in the first series. And just to kind of preview that, we played the Minnesota Wild 3 times in the season, and we're 3-0. We did beat them in 2 overtime games, and then we beat them outright in one of those games. But I think our captain, Ryan O'Reilly, who is actually what jersey I'm wearing, believe it or not, but said it
O'Reilly
best.
Here with us?
He could be, but he said this is one of the best offensive teams that he's seen or been a part of. And I think this Blues team's even better than what we were in 2019 when we won the Stanley Cup. And like I said last episode when we were talking about hockey, it doesn't have to be the best team that's going to win. It's all about who's playing right, who's playing hard, who's playing for their coach, what goalie's on fire, who's making the stops, So I think it's all up in the air, but I think the Blues have it in them. But sad thing is there's 15 other teams that are hungry to win as well, And Lightning have won 2 years in a row, and they're looking for that three-peat. And one guy has won 3 Stanley Cups in a row, in Pat Maroon in 2019 with the Blues, 2020 with the Lightning, 2021 with the Lightning, and I believe he's still on the Lightning, and he's looking for a nice little 4 championships. So we'll see. I'm excited, and I think the Blues just need to keep up the momentum. They need to rely on their big scorers. They're deep, and they got to rely and play for everybody.
I actually looked up some stats on the Blues, and like you said, they are a very good offensive team. They're 3rd in goals this year, but they don't even have like a guy in the top 10. They're not a top 10 goal scoring guy.
Oh, yeah,
they have 9 guys who have scored over 20 goals this year. Insane.
Most in the NHL. I don't think that's happened either since 94, I think they said.
Yeah. You guys have always been a physical team, a team that's always going to just pound you a little bit, but you guys finally have some skill to go with that. Like, you guys have more skill this year, arguably, than the year you won the Stanley Cup. And your skill and your physicality is all still there, obviously. So you guys can make a very deep run. And you got a goalie that's hot right now in Husso. So I think that you guys can make a very deep run here. You got to get past the Wild. The Wild are not a team to take lightly. I mean, you guys did beat them Obviously, you beat them 3 times. They're fifth in goals. The Kaprizov guy, he's got 47 goals on the year. He's pretty nasty.
Young and a beast.
And like you said earlier, you have to have 2 good goalies. They have 2 top-tier goalies, Fury and Talbot. Those guys are insane. And I think you guys have your hands full with the Wild, but I do think
Yeah, Cam Talbot is really good. And I think the Blues, I'll just say this and we'll move on to kind of our rest of the playoffs, but the Blues will win if they can just have good goaltending. Like it's kind of been up and down. Bennington was our starter to start the year. He's benched, and I think they made the decision that we're going to start Husso, who's been fantastic this year. And as long as we can keep that goaltending at least above adequate, I think that we can win. Our offense is all world right now. Our defense is above average. And the thing is, the Wild have a lot of problems with being in the penalty box. They commit penalties, and when you commit a penalty and the other team is playing 5-on-4 and they're on the power play, the Blues are just extremely disgusting. And you know a little bit about the power play, Tim, the old Rangers, because
Chris Kreider.
They can be a team that can score as well. But looking at the other playoffs in the Western Conference.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Are you predicting the Blues to win this series?
Sure. I'll start with that one in the Western Conference. I am predicting the Blues to win the series. I think they have the right pieces. We made some trades to add some veterans. We do have young guys. We do have veterans. The Wild are an extremely younger team. They do have some pieces that are veteran, but the playoffs is a whole different game. Like there's no other sport where it's literally it's different. You're watching a whole other sport almost when you're watching NHL playoffs, because it's just so intense. Every shift that you go out there and skate, you're finishing checks, you're bodying people. I mean, you're literally putting blood, sweat, and tears into the game.
It's also one of the only sports where you can really play intensely the whole game, because you do have those splits, and the only one those shifts, the only one who's out there the whole game is the goalie. So you have these shifts where you're going in every 5-6 minutes and you can just give it your all and then you're out. In football, you have to sustain the whole drive. In basketball, you have to sustain up and down. A lot of those guys, the key players, play the whole game. In hockey, it's not like that. You have to be deep. You have to be well-versed. You have to have some great lines, but you also have to give it your all on every single shift. And I do think it's going to be crazy to watch. So, but the Avalanche are playing the Predators. We've got some predictions for that, Nate. Well, what do you kind of see there?
Yeah, Avalanche should run right through them. Avalanche are the top team by like odds favorites and NHL staff writers, all that stuff. They're the top.
Not a whole lot to say about that.
To win the whole thing, yeah. And then even the Calgary Flames, they're number 2 in odds to win the whole Stanley Cup, like to win it all. So you have Avalanche and Flames in the Western Conference to win everything. That's what they're saying. And I think
they have two of the best players in the sport are on those teams.
Yeah,
McKinnon
exactly
for the Avalanche and Goudreau for the Flames. I mean,
Johnny Goudreau.
Yep.
Johnny Hockey, as they call him.
They're nasty. Those 2 series. I mean, if any of those go to even, if the Stars or the Predators even win one of those games, that's going to be an upset. So,
yeah, I agree. And then just to move on, the last one, the Oilers and Kings. Kings are surprised a lot of people, and they still have like their core group that's kind of been together for a while. I don't know. I just think the Oilers have too much. They're talking about a team that is kind of top side, or that can be, heavy on
top heavy,
lopsided.
For sure.
Yeah, top heavy. Yeah, I kind of got those mixed. But Connor McDavid, who's assumed, to be one of the best hockey players out there, and then Draisaitl as well, both topping 110 points this season.
Insane.
I mean, the Kings.
I don't think
goaltending, but
I don't think you can name a deadlier duo in the sport than on the Oilers right there. Those 2 guys are absolutely insane. Yeah, the Kings had really good goalie play this year, but not very good offense. And they're going to have their goalie play super well, because they're playing 2 of the best players in the sport on the other side. So,
and just to say before I move on, and Tim, you have the Eastern Conference predictions, and even Josh, I know you kind of learned a little bit more about hockey as well, but each series is a 7-game, so it's just there's a lot of games to be played. You got 16 teams battling. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, I mean, ESPN, I'm telling you, you got to turn on a little playoff hockey and just see the atmosphere. It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun though. But go Blues.
Yeah, I think I think it's going to be definitely very fun to watch for sure. These two boys are both Blues fans. I'm a Rangers fan, so we're rooting on Rangers and Blues Stanley Cup. And like I said, if that happens, the GoFundMe page will be started. So please start saving your money now. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, though, I think the Eastern Conference is definitely more top heavy than the Western Conference is. Eastern Conference has had their 8 playoff teams for the last 2 months or so. In the West, there's been kind of some fight for those bottom seeds. So the East has kind of had their seeds locked up for a little while.
Talk about lopsided, yeah. And they said that every team that's in the playoffs was 100 points in standings. You know, you get your 2 points if you win, 1 point for an overtime loss. But that was the first time that happened in like 30 years. They said that each playoff team in the East scored over 100 points.
Which you can take that 2 ways. You can say, okay, those 8 teams were really good, or those other teams are really bad. So,
true.
I mean, it's kind of cool to see, though. But I think the East is, I think, going to be more interesting to watch than the West per se, because the West, the first round in the West, you kind of know what's going to happen. In the East, we have some really, really good matchups going. The Panthers and the Capitals, I think the Panthers are going to take this one pretty easily. The Panthers are one of the best teams in the entire sport. They have been all year long. Jonathan Huberdeau and Barkov are stars, and they're going to eat. They've been eating all year. They're going to continue to do so. And the Capitals are going to rely on Ovechkin.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Top
Ovechkin's
team versus the worst team.
Right. Ovechkin's really their only thing doing. They don't even have good goalie play this year. The Capitals don't. There's not a whole lot there going for him. Ovechkin's going to have to get a hat trick for them to win a game, honestly. So I think Panthers are going to roll all over them. The next matchup, though, that I want to talk about is, I think, the most even matchup in the first round. Nate, you can correct me or disagree with me if you want, but I think the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning is going to be a show.
I don't want to miss a game of this, honestly.
Right.
I want to
watch it all.
Yes, Austin Matthews versus the defending champs 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. Yeah, Austin Matthews has been in an all-time tear. If you don't know that name yet, look him up. Look at some of his highlights. Look at what he's done. That guy
he's nasty.
The nastiest player in the sport. I mean, he's super young too. He's going to be the next. I mean, he is the next Ovechkin, the next Crosby. Like, he is. That is who he is to hockey right now. He is insane, and it's not just him. Like, that team is pretty deep too. They have Mitch Marner, and then Campbell, their goalie, is also an absolute stud as well. Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
And that team can really play, and they can score in a hurry. And it's not just Matthews. Matthews, you can't just stop his goaling, because he can also assist very well, finds the open guy very well. And he's just a fantastic player. They're a fantastic team, but they have to be, because they're facing the 2-time defending champ, Lightning. The Lightning this year haven't been as dominant as they have been in the past, but they are still a very good team. They have their reigning core back with them. Their goalie, I don't really know how to say his name, Vaseski or something like that.
Vasilevsky.
Thank you. I'm still learning these names. But Hedman, though, Victor Hedman, probably the best defensive player in the sport.
He's awesome.
Leading their team in assists. You don't usually see that. And then Stamkos, the guy, their leading guy on their forward line. He's nasty as well. And those three have won championships together, and they're planning to do so again this year. So I'm going to go out on a limb, though, and I'm going to say that the Leafs are just too hot right now. I think the Leafs are going to win, but I think it's going to take all 7. I think it's going to take all 7 games for the Leafs to beat the Lightning. I think Nate's going to disagree with me here, but I think it's definitely the closest series.
It's going to be close for sure. I would love to see the Leafs. I think the Lightning are extremely well. I really do want to see the Leafs win it, though. So, I mean, I'll go there with you. I mean, watching Austin Matthews with the puck, I don't know how to describe it to you, Josh, but it's basically watching like LeBron, like taking it to the basket. Like, this man's going to score. or Durant shooting an open jump shot as long as it wasn't within this last month. Like you think that it's gonna go in. You know what I mean? Like when the ball leaves his hand, it's like, all right, that's going in.
Being guarded by anybody but the Celtics.
When this dude has the puck on his stick, like the things he can do, like just a quick snap of the wrist, it's like, and a puck's coming at you 115 miles an hour. It's like, okay, it's insane.
Yeah, he's absolutely nasty. The next series, the Hurricanes and the Bruins, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about this series. Hurricanes are much better than the Bruins. Hurricanes have been like one of the top 3-4 teams in the league. At some points, been the best team in the league. They're nasty. There's nothing you can really do against them. They can beat you on defense. They can beat you on offense. Their goalies are very good. They can score in a hurry from everywhere. They're kind of like the Blues to me in scoring. They're not a team that's going to rely heavily on one or two guys. They mix it around. They have a lot of guys who can score and beat you from anywhere. And that team's very scary because you can't just shut down one line or shut down one guy. You got to shut down the whole team for the whole 3 periods, and it's pretty hard to do so. The Bruins don't have very good offense or defense, but they do have two very good goalies. So if their goalies can pitch some shutouts, they have a shot. Maybe go to the shootout. The shootout might be their best chance to beat the old Hurricanes, but we'll see. I could be wrong.
They have some the Bruins have some guys though that are playoff. Like you were talking about it earlier about some guys just can't do it in the playoffs. Like the Bruins are that team where it's like, like they have a switch where it's like, okay, it's playoff time. Like it's time to actually try. Like there's some guys that are scary. And the Hurricanes, their goalie Frederik Andersen is out for the first game.
I did see that.
That came out. So I mean, that's going to be a big loss for them. But I mean, I think it's going to be close. Honestly, I know the Bruins haven't looked great all the time, but
I have seen that from the Bruins. Yeah, they do turn it on for playoff. I have been looking back at some of their playoff logs and stuff, and they do turn it up. But I think that they played their cards pretty tough here and are facing up against probably the best team in the Eastern Conference, or right there with the Panthers as the best team in the Eastern Conference. And it's no easy task for the Bruins, that's for sure. And I'm going to pick the Hurricanes in this one. That's who I'm predicting to move on to the next round. And then the last series we got to talk about here. The New York Rangers are meeting the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round.
Whew.
First, we'll talk about the Penguins because it won't take me very long to get through these bums. Jarry, their all-world goalie, Tristan Jarry, is out for the first 2 games at least. That's a big blow to them. They do have a very good backup goalie. DeSmith is a very good goalie. He could probably start for most other teams. He wouldn't be their backup. And they've got him for this. They traded for him for playoff time, so him and Jarry could go off together. But they're going to really have to rely on him. And they kind of rely on Crosby still. Crosby to be their leading attacker.
Still relying on him a lot.
And that guy's about 75 years old, so I'm not really scared of him anymore. But now we'll get to the Rangers. I'll tell you why I'm not scared of them. 4 letters. IGOR. Igor Shesterkin, the best goalie in the sport this year. Lockdown. There's so many stats I could go into, and I can bore you guys and make you turn off this stream as to how much I could bore you with this guy's stats, but they're so good. He's fantastic. And it's not just him. They have Panarin, who's been going off lately, assisting on what seems like every goal that they score. Chris Kreider had 50 goals this year, and he's probably not even a top 3 player on our team. He's just a power play menace. And we had some key additions at the trade deadline. Andrew Copp, we added him in, and our young guys are just playing so well. Alexis Lafreniere and Capo Caco, he's come back, and those guys have just –
I love that guy's name.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love that guy, and they're just so – they play off each other's energy. And if one guy scores, they're all hyped and they shut down. They lock down on defense. I haven't even talked about their best player, Adam Fox, defensive player.
He's a beast.
Probably a top 3 defensive player in the league. The guy is an animal. And when you talk about playoffs, you're looking for guys like that to win you the series. And I think between Fox, Igor, Panarin, this series is wrapped. I think the Penguins don't stand a chance.
One X factor I think that I wanted to bring up was Andrew Copp. You guys got him from the Winnipeg Jets at the trade deadline and has been a huge addition to the Ryan Strome and Panarin line. And I know he's missed the last 4 games, or he's missed a few of the last few games, but he is returning.
They rested him a couple,
and he scored 18 points in 16 games. And I think he's going to be an X factor. And I wanted to tell you this too, because we've kind of talked about New York a lot today with the whole Yankees thing. We're not going to bring that back.
I'm high on life,
but we know the Yankees are leading on comeback wins. But I do want you to know that the Rangers were second in the league with 27 comeback wins in the NHL, just following 29 from the Florida Panthers. So I mean, the Rangers are never
rattle these guys.
Yeah, you don't rattle them. And I think Shesterkin, Igor, as you said, is the key. And you told me a while ago that they rely on their power play, like the 5-on-4. But I'll let you know that their 5-on-5 play, the Rangers, has been exceptional the last month. And if they can keep that up, I think they're extremely
if you actually remember, Nate, a conversation we had a couple months ago, I said, if we could play in the power play the whole game, we would win 20-0, which obviously you can't do that. But I said our 5-on-5 play has got to get better. And one thing they did is they went out and got a couple guys, and they've mixed and matched these lines to where they like them. I mean, we're playing Alexis Lafreniere between our first and our third line. We put on the fourth line one time. We're just able to mix and match these guys, and we're able to score 5-on-5. We're actually the last week we actually scored, I think, 3 times on the penalty kill, which is not something that we're very good at. And
neither team is like the Rangers or the Penguins are not. It's very, penalty kill.
It's very hard to score on the penalty kill.
Yeah,
obviously.
And you got guys such as Crosby, Malkin, those your top guys. Like when you're on the penalty kill and like just shooting the puck down the ice to waste time, you don't have your scorers out on the ice, and that's the thing about the playoffs. You have to be disciplined but tough because the refs are going to allow extra things to go on, an extra shove, an extra push, an extra, whatever it is, because it's the playoffs, intensity's high, but you have to stay disciplined because if you're on the penalty kill and you don't have your top guys out there scoring, that's an issue. And I think, when you have people like the Rangers who are just dangerous in the power play, even the Blues on that side, so the Wild, the Penguins, for our teams to succeed, I mean, or for our teams to get beat or whatever, like they got to make sure that they stay disciplined as well. So it's gonna be fun.
No doubt. I'm super excited, super stoked. We're gonna glue Josh's eyelids open to watch hockey and soak in as much information as he can. Josh likes hockey, but like you can tell, he hasn't done a whole lot of talking here. But he's learning, he's watching, and hopefully Josh will be our NHL pro by next year.
Hey, with the way y'all are talking, you guys got me excited for real. I can't wait to watch a lot of these games.
You have to watch some Rangers games, watch some Blues games, and
I'm gonna try to Lightning games. Gotta watch Maple Leafs Lightning.
I am. I'm gonna try to watch as much as I can, honestly. But
I'm excited. ESPN 2.
Yes, sir. Well, I think we spent enough time on that. I could talk hockey for a long time, though. I love hockey, man. But I don't want to bore you guys to death. So if you don't love hockey, perfect time to start watching. If you can't get excited about playoff hockey, then you probably won't ever like the sport. But give it a chance now. Give it a try. We're going to continue talking about this, and it's going to be an ongoing topic as we navigate through these playoffs. But we got some other playoffs to talk through. I know a lot of our listeners have been waiting for this. We have the NBA playoffs. They're hot in the streets. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of series. We obviously just ended today, started the second round. Holy crap. The Mets are up 9-4 now. I did not see that. Got in my hockey zone. Didn't even look at the iPad. And these Mets are disgusting, man. But NBA playoffs, second round series, we're going to give you guys some predictions. If you did not see, go check out our Twitter, our Instagram. We made a post on Facebook. We made a post on TikTok. We're getting us young guys are getting on our little TikTok vibes, trying to get our younger generation involved. But go check out our posts in there. We post there almost daily, trying to get content out to you guys. But we all did make NBA playoff predictions. There was a lot that we saw from the first round that made us think, okay, well, we can probably predict the rest of this playoff. But we did not have the same predictions. So go check out that post, go comment, go let us know what you think. Comment in the chat right now if you have some disagreements, some agreements, some opinions you have. But we're going to talk through each series real quick. Today we started out Bucks and Celtics. We have all three picked the Celtics to win this series, and I think maybe that was because of what we saw in the first round. also had to do with the fact that Chris Middleton is out for the series. But boys,
Yep.
game 1. Josh, you watched this game.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on this?
It just the Bucks being the Bucks. Honestly, Giannis doing his thing. I mean, even Drew Holiday stepped up and dropped 25. So, it's when Middleton went down, we all knew somebody had to step up with that, and Holiday's doing it within this first game. So, I mean, if they keep playing like this, I think we might all be wrong with this series when we had the Celtics going on, but still a lot of games left. So.
Yeah, and we actually all have the Celtics in the finals, so this would be quite an upset for us here. We thought maybe the East was over by looking and watching the East. I mean, the Celtics look so good.
Yeah,
Nate, I'm sorry, maybe the Nets were that bad, bro. I'm not sure.
Okay,
but
that could be a possibility.
Game 1 results: the Bucks won by 12. They were in control basically the whole game. Giannis dropped a triple-double, and like you already said, Josh Holiday went off. And Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they shot pretty badly. They shot 30% combined from the field. I think Brown only had like 12 or 14 points, something like that.
Yeah,
not what you want out of a superstar level player like he's supposed to be for you. Yeah. And they also kind of built a wall against the Celtics. They said, you know what? We're not going to let you penetrate. We're not going to let you play the ISO ball. You're going to have to pass, and you're going to have to make threes. Did you guys see how many threes they shot in this game?
53s.
53s. 18 for 50 from 3. I'm like, oh, they made 18 threes. That's pretty good. And I'm like, they shot 50 of them? Golly.
And
Tatum shot 32
and Horford didn't shoot
inside.
bad from the 3, 4 for 9 for each of them, which isn't terrible. But
I mean, that's 8 of your 18 right there. So the rest of the team went like 10 for 40.
Yeah, I mean, you even got that Robert Williams guy out here. He even chucked up a 3. So
they're just getting 3 happy with it, man.
I don't know if I like that at all. I saw Bobby Portis had a good game, and I saw somebody say that you said Holiday had to play well with Middleton being out with that MCL sprain, but they did say that Portis's contributions is going to be huge if he can contribute a little bit. Dude had 11 rebounds. I mean,
flashbacks to last year.
Points.
Yeah,
last year Bobby Portis was a key cog to letting them go as far as they did. You know, Bobby Portis was the X factor for them. You know what Giannis is going to bring. You know what Middleton's going to bring. You know what Holiday's going to bring. You know what those guys are going to do. But who from their bench can step up? Bobby Portis is that guy. So I think that's definitely a very interesting series to watch, something to keep our eyes on there. We were all wrong in game 1, but there's 6 games still to go. That's why it's a 7-game series. There's a lot that can still happen. I think the Celtics will rebound from this. But it was very fun to watch, very fun to see. But yeah, we all have Boston in this series. So Celtics, come on, pick up the pace here. I wouldn't be mad if the Bucks won because I love Giannis. I think that the Bucks are a very good team, but I just didn't like their odds without Middleton. Got anything to add on that?
I mean, yeah, I don't like their odds with Middleton, and the Celtics are literally peaking at the right time. I mean, bad game, whatever it is. But they're smart. Coach is smart. They're going to make some adjustments, and I think that I could see him coming back for sure. So I don't know. I'm not giving up on them already.
Yeah, it's game 1. We can't.
It's
there's still a lot of ball to play. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, I think we're gonna move on then. 76ers are playing the Heat, and there's a good chance Joel Embiid might be out for a couple games here, or if he plays, might be limited, as he had an orbital fracture and a mild concussion, or concussion symptoms. I also looked at the lines for each team and their chances to win their conference. Philly comes in with the worst odds to win the East of the 4 teams remaining. The Heat have the second best odds. You guys have any opinions on that? Think that the sportsbooks got that wrong, or predictions, or?
I don't know. Both of these teams are very good, and they're here for a reason in the second round for a reason. So I mean, I don't know. This is one series to me that it's close in my opinion. Both of these teams are good, but if the 76ers are without Joel Embiid, who's averaging 30 points, the Heat are definitely going to be moving on in this next round. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if Embiid for sure is out, which it's looking like he could be out the first 2 games from what I've seen. But hey, James Harden, it's another. We get to see him again. It's his team, and he
Yeah,
gets to kind of
Mr.
decide his own fate.
17 points per game.
Ball's gonna be in his hands. We're gonna see what he can do, but I think it's gonna be another disappointing series for the 76er fans out there. I think Miami's just too deep, man. They have a lot of dogs. They're just so deep, and their next man up is their motto right now. Like, struggling. They've had Lowry missed 2 games. Butler missed 1 game due to injuries, and they just didn't skip a beat. I mean, they shut down Trey Young. Their defense is stout. I mean, I'm telling you, they're just too deep for these 76ers team, especially with one of their main guys gone.
Right. And I think that, when we talk about these injuries, you have to play into a factor like the NBA. There is a huge drop off between each player. Like, you have your top echelon of guys, and then you still have really good players. Like Chris Middleton is a very good player. He's a star, but it's not like you're missing Giannis out there. If Giannis was out, they don't win today. If Middleton's in there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In this series, Joel Embiid is their Giannis. This guy would be the MVP if Nikola Jokic was not alive. Like, Joel Embiid would be the MVP of the league. This guy is insane. He's unguardable. And I don't think that the Heat can shut him down, because I don't think anybody can shut him down. He's going to get his. But without him being in there, they can just smother James Harden. And James Harden has shown that he is not in any means clutch. There's nothing in his body that is cold-blooded besides his cold-blooded shot, which he misses all the time in the playoffs. So I think the 76ers are cooked without Embiid. I don't think it's even a series.
Yeah.
So got to get him healthy. Got to get him like a titanium face shield for that guy. Whatever you got to do.
Heat in 5.
Yeah. I think it could be even. It could be 4 if Embiid doesn't play.
Yeah, it could be a sweep. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
If Embiid plays, if he comes back in game 3 or whatever, he's going to get one. But I think the Heat. I think even if Embiid's healthy, the Heat win this series. But with Embiid out, I don't think it's close. So we all had the Heat, I think, winning this one, right, guys? I think we all had the Heat.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, in our next series is when we change it up a little bit. We all agreed on the East, but in the West, we didn't really agree much here, boys. Mavericks and Celtics, first series for the West.
Mavs
Devin Booker and Luka. What did I say?
Mavs and Celtics.
Mavs and Suns. Mavs and Suns. Booker and Luka are both healthy, as far as we know. They're both ready to play, both ready to go in this series. The Suns have the best odds to win the West. They're actually tied with the Warriors for best odds. And the Suns are tied with the Warriors, and the Mavs have the worst odds to win the West. Do you guys see this as being a close series? I think one of us, Mr. Hockey Boy over here, has the Mavs winning this series. Nate, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'm just drinking that Luka juice right now. I mean, no doubt, this series is going to be intense. We have a huge guard-heavy showdown with Booker and Paul versus Luka and the sizzling Jalen Brunson right now. I mean, it's going to be a fun series. Are the Suns a little bit deeper? Or are the Suns even the better team right now? Yeah, I'd say so. But I think the Mavs are hot. They want it. They're an exciting team to watch. Doncic is going to be a little injuries to kind of look out for. And those 2 stars are going to show off. I think Doncic and Booker are going to be the 2 main that's going to lead them to the next series. I know Chris Paul, he wants that time, he wants that ring, he wants all that. But I think that it's going to be Booker and Doncic that's really leading the 2 teams. And I think the winner of that kind of battle, I think, could take the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think, Luka is that guy. And it's kind of like how I feel with the 76ers. Luka's going to get his. Luka's going to do his thing. But who else are you really counting on? I mean, Jalen Brunson's good, very good. His running mate, I talked about it in the last pod. He's very good. Spencer Dinwiddie's very good. But if Booker's Doncic, they ain't got no CP3 or even any Mikal Bridges on their team. I'd say if you rank the players in this series, you probably I put Luka over Booker, but you can kind of argue that. I go Luka, Booker, CP3, Mikal Bridges, and then it goes from there. The top 4 players in this series, 3 of them play on the Suns. I think the Suns are just better. They're a deeper team. They've been here before, obviously. The Mavs, they're still relatively new to this. Luka is not well-versed in being in the playoffs that much yet. He's been in the first round. I think this is his second time in the second round. I could be wrong, but just going off my memory here. But they're just a team that maybe isn't as good as the Suns. Yes, they could pull off a game or two. I don't think it's going to be a blowout series by any means. I think the Suns are probably going to win in 6 games.
Yep.
But I think the Suns are a better team.
Yeah. I hope it plays out the way you're saying, Nate, with the Mavericks moving on. But like Tim said, I just think the Suns are just too deep. I mean, the Mavericks really don't have anybody else besides Luka, and then I guess you could say Brunson even. But I mean, even there, Brunson isn't really, besides this year, a guy to go off for and drop 20 plus a game. So I mean, I don't know. A part of me hopes you're right because I love watching Luka, but I just don't see it.
I do love watching Luka, and I'm going to throw out another name that you didn't say that you're going to start saying after this series, because I have the Mavs winning in 7 games. It's going to be a back and forth. It's going to be a nail biter, but I'm going to let you know Dorian Finney-Smith is going to lock down Devin Booker. This man can guard any position on the floor. He's an effective defender. And the reason why Donovan Mitchell shot, what he shoot 34% in the last 3 games was because of Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm telling you, this man is a huge game breaker for the Mavs. And I'm hoping that he shows up, that he's going to kind of be that primary guy on Booker, and we'll see. We'll see what he can do. But
here's what I'm going to say. You can shut down Booker, but like I said before, we are coming off a game with Chris Paul, who went 14 for 14 from the field.
Yeah.
He can get anything he wants, and he's going to get anything he wants. We're not even mentioning Mikal Bridges. That guy dropped 32 in a game that they had to win in Game 5, a decision-making Game 5, and the dude shot 100% from 3. I mean, the guy is insane. We've talked about this on this pod before. This guy is unheard of. People don't really talk about him as being a star on that team. Yeah, he's a piece is what people say. I think he's a star. I think this guy is Chris Middleton to them. That's what I think. I think he's a guy who's going to – is he going to lose this series for you if he's out? Maybe not. But if he's in there, don't mess with those guys.
And the Mavs don't really have any big guys.
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Well, because Finney-Smith did – like that small ball lineup, they put Finney-Smith at the center.
Yeah.
Unless
he's got 8 arms, I don't know how he's going to defend everybody.
I don't, it just depends, I guess. But I think that he's going to play a big factor. And I think if you can stop Booker from just going off, I think that's the key to win. But we'll see. I mean, you're right, though, Bridges.
Well,
there's other guys that can score in the Suns, though. That's the problem. But
that is the problem, because, I mean, that just shows, I mean, both these teams have really good players, at least 2 really good players on the team. I think we could all agree with that. But depth is the thing that I think is really going to play a huge part in this series. And, I mean, that favors the Suns right there. So, I don't know.
And you know what? I think in a close game, we could see it a very, very good closing out to the ending of a games here. Like if these games are close in the fourth quarter, you have statistically the best fourth quarter player of our generation, and statistically, I think the 4th best clutch player ever in Chris Paul. And then I don't have the stats right off my hand for Luka Doncic, but I can recall in my head just videos of him game winner after game winner after game winner after game winner. So I think in a close game, this could be the most fun series to watch down the stretch, but I do think the Suns will ultimately prevail.
2 very good.
But I'm going to predict it now. I do see one game ending with a Luka Doncic buzzer beater.
I'm all over it. I'm ready.
I got his jersey in my closet, so I can throw it on and say I've been a Mavs fan since day one. So, But and then the last series we got the Warriors and Grizzlies. Did we all pick the Warriors in this one? I believe we did. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I think we did.
We all
picked
picked the
them. I know I did.
Warriors in this. Steph's healthy. We saw game one today. We'll get into that in just a minute. But the Warriors, like I said, have the best odds, tied for the best odds to win the West with the Suns. The Grizzlies have the third best odds. So I think this series is very exciting. We saw game one, and game one today was already absurd. Josh, you watched this game through from first quarter to fourth. What were your thoughts on this game?
I mean, this game was back and forth the whole time. I mean, it came down to a 1-point game, and Jaren Jackson Jr., he really, really stood out to me. This guy was just, I'm talking about coming up from half court trailing. They were just tossing the ball and just stroking. I mean, this dude hit like at one point 3 back-to-back threes with just trailing. Just they passed it to him top of the key and him just stepping into it and hitting it. I mean, him and Morant, I don't know, dude. These guys are young. I don't think they're going to be able to, obviously pull this one out, but this is a fun team to watch, and they have something special there in Memphis. I'll tell you that.
They got nothing to lose, honestly. I mean, they're coming up. People are picking the Warriors. They got Clay. It's like the Warriors are healthy at the right time. Like they're like the healthiest team. They're excited. They're ready to go to win another one. And I think the Grizzlies have something to say about it. And what about the ejection, though? I kind of saw it. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Before we move on to the rest of the series, was it excessive or
typical Draymond Green?
I mean, I
don't know. So I mean, there should be hard fouls in playoffs.
Right.
And
is it a flagrant one? Sure. Is it a flagrant two rewarding or meaning he needs to be ejected? I don't think so.
It's probably because of who he is. But I mean, I watched the play and he did try to help him up at the like hold him from smashing his face. And he fouled him and he was like. And I feel like, I don't know. I mean, it's playoff basketball. We're fighting hard out there. I don't know.
I mean, we've all three, we all three play pickup basketball here and there. And there's games where, they're all competitive. So, I mean, when you're in the middle of a play, sometimes you do things that you do not mean to do. And it's just an instinct, like a thing that you have to do in that play, and I just feel like that was one thing there. I don't think he meant to drag him down by his jersey or anything like that, but I don't know. I think the refs made it out to be a little bit worse than what it really was, but
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that it definitely played a key part in this game, though. The Grizzlies definitely blew their opportunity to win this game. They needed to steal this game to have a shot in this series, I think.
Yeah.
To win this series, I think would be very key to winning, or to win this game would be very key to winning this series. And with Draymond getting ejected, I thought Jaren Jackson would go off, and he did. I mean, when Draymond's not out there, who's guarding Jaren Jackson? Who's guarding him?
Yeah.
I mean, you can try to put Wiggins on him or whoever you want, but the dude's like 6'11", and he can move fluidly with the ball. He can move without the ball. He's the most athletic big guy out there. And even when Draymond's on the floor, it's still a hard ask for Draymond to guard the guy. Draymond can, obviously, and will. But when Draymond's out like that, you've got to take advantage of those opportunities. And they didn't. It was a great game. Like you said, Clay hit the game-winning 3. And Ja missed the 2-pointer at the buzzer, a layup that was tough, but could he have made it? Yes. And
that's something he normally makes, though.
Right. It's something he said in the presser. It's a layup I usually make. Something that he usually comes away with. But I think it's going to be a very good series. I do think this one is going to end with Warriors probably in 5 or 6, but some very close games.
I don't know. I have Warriors too, but I have Warriors in 7. I think both of this side of the West is going 7 games. I think it's gonna be closer than y'all think.
I had it 6.
I'll say 6, but
I'll give you a number. Who's the team that has defended the Warriors or is ranked as the best regular season defense against Golden State? It's the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, I think they line up. They're small ball. Like, I think both teams are going to go.
Was Clay healthy when they played them most of the time, though? I don't really look at the stats against the Warriors. Because this Warriors team is different right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Bane, Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, Brandon Clark, and Ja.
Oh, yeah. They got a bunch of dogs.
It's going to be like 5. It's going to be small ball on both sides, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And Dylan Brooks is known. You guys know how much I love Dylan Brooks. He's, He's a nice thick dude. He's a shooter. You know, I love me some Dillon Brooks, but I'm gonna let you know, Dillon Brooks is literally known for his perimeter defense. Like that's what he's known for, and the perimeter offense for the Warriors is insane. And they got some defense guys too, but I'm telling you, Dillon Brooks is a guy that can lock up some of those shooters out there. And you know, you tell me that the Warriors, what was it, had 21 and 15 for Curry and Thompson. I think Thompson had 15 and Curry had 21 points. Was that what the stat that I saw?
I think it's about right. I'm not 100% sure on the
I don't know. I think
exact
the series
line.
is going to be close, man. I think it's going to be extremely close. Yeah, Jordan Poole had 31 points. He was the top guy. And that was one thing.
Curry had 24, Clay had 15.
24 and 15. So Jordan Poole, and that was one thing too. If Jordan Poole carries on what he did in the first round, yeah, they're going to be tough to beat too.
Right.
Because the dude's like the third splash bro right now. But I'm telling I think it is going to be a close series. I do have Warriors in 7 games, but I'm not going to be shocked if the Grizzlies win. I'm really not.
I think I would be. What were you going to say, Josh? I would be shocked though.
I mean, yeah, I would be shocked too, but I want to just throw out like a little fact here. In this game, we had 3 30-point scorers, all under the age of 22, which was the first time in NBA playoff history that has happened. And I just thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, that just shows
how young this game is.
Yep, exactly. I don't know. This is going to be a fun series to watch. So
for sure, yeah. And I think just my thing is, I think the games are going to be very close. But I don't think that in those close games that the Grizzlies probably have enough to beat the Warriors' experience, especially if Draymond's in the game. If Draymond's in the game at the end of the fourth quarter with him and Curry and Clay, and I mean, that's not even adding in their other guys, Wiggins and Poole, that death lineup that they run out there. I think that they are sneaky athletic and can score at will from all over the court. And I think they're going to be very close games. The Warriors will obviously have a blowout game in there because there's going to be a game when Clay hits like 4 threes in the first 2 minutes and they just start going crazy because he always does that. But I think they're going to be very close games, but I do see the Warriors in 5 or 6 winning this.
Yeah, I think the Grizzlies are going to battle back. I really do. And Desmond Bane, dude, is a pure shooter. Only made 1 3 today, and he lost by 1 point. I mean,
and isn't he averaging like 23 in the playoffs or something like that?
He's
so. I mean,
averaging almost 5 threes a game.
I mean, John Morant was a rebound away from a triple-double too. I mean, he had a heck of a game. But I mean, it's going to be very fun to watch. I'm very excited about this series, man. There's so much good stuff going on. The NBA, the NHL, both playoff time, man. I'm not going to have enough time to do anything. Man, I'm looking at the screen right now. The Mets are tearing up the Phillies, and there's Francisco Lindor. Reminded me of Easter grass, the green grass that's in your Easter pail. That's what his hair looks like right now. I don't know what the dude's doing. He needs to go hit up our man Brian and get himself a real haircut. But baseball's hot. Man, baseball's hot in the streets. Yeah, it is, man. He's wearing a Easter pail on his head. What is he doing? Expecting to see Easter bunnies trailing after this guy, man. Jeez.
Gosh,
they're up 10-4.
He's coming to the plate with 2 home runs and
Hey, Josh, maybe you should dye your hair that color, bro.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, if you're gonna make fun of me like the way you're making fun of him, then I don't know about that.
I think Lincoln's got some extra grass in his pail here. If you want some, I mean, I can hook you up, bro. But yeah, Schwarber's coming up. He's having a monster night. He's had 2 home runs on the night. But yeah, baseball's hot in the streets. Hockey's hot in the streets. NBA's hot in the streets. We're just coming off the NFL draft. The USFL starting up. We're all really big on the USFL here. Yep. We're just kind of sports nerds. All we do in our free time is sports. Soccer is starting up. These 2 boys are excited about that. I could not care any less. But there's a whole lot of great stuff going on. I was at Applebee's tonight and
watching racing.
And I was watching volleyball, sand volleyball at Applebee's. There was just a lot of stuff going on. And I was intrigued, man. I was getting into it. So I'm just so excited to be a sports fan right now. I'm excited to be doing this podcast for you guys. Boys, thank you guys for doing this. Appreciate y'all being on here with me, being on here with all of our supporters, all of our loyal followers. But I think we're at a time limit here. We went a little bit longer than we wanted to, but we had a lot to talk about. And we even held back about some things. We could have went a little more in depth, but we thank you guys for hanging out with us. Boys, you got any last second comments you want to throw in here?
Josh, watch some hockey, bud.
Hey, I
watch
promise
some
you I
hockey.
am. I promise you. Hopefully next
you gotta have
next,
TV, iPad, phone, monitor, gotta have it all.
Hey, I'll be in this room this whole NHL playoff experience, so try to soak it all in. So
soak it in, bud. Soak it in.
Sir.
I'm telling you, it'll make you a fan. It really will.
But all right, well, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for watching with us wherever you're watching with us from, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts later. We appreciate you for being on here with us. We appreciate you guys liking the post, sharing it, commenting, interacting with us. We're not doing this to, gain fame or get money or whatever. We just literally want to talk with you guys, want to have fun, want to get our opinions out there and have some fun. So thank you guys for stopping by. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you on Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to be talking some playoff stuff. We're going to be talking primarily NBA and hockey. So we're going to see you in there. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for stopping by. Peace out, boys. We're signing off, boys. Playoff Wednesday.
Let's go, Blues.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. All right. Bye, guys.